Good morning and welcome to Chula Vista, California. All you people watching early are going to get a little bit of a treat. We're going to watch a couple videos that are on the U.S. Rowing web page, the YouTube page, and you can watch these videos there, plus a whole lot others from the U.S. Rowing Communications Department. First of all, we'd like to thank Liberty Mutual. Liberty Mutual Insurance is a proud partner of U.S. Rowing. Whether it's your auto, home, life, or business, Liberty Mutual has helped people preserve and protect what they earn, build, own, and cherish for more than 100 years. Thank you very much, Liberty Mutual Insurance. We'd also like to thank the Scholastic Rowing Association of America. They are a sponsor of U.S. Rowing live streaming.
And I'm from Springfield, Virginia. My athletic background included most sports that kids do: soccer, basketball, baseball, and then football in high school. But I started rowing when a neighbor suggested that I try it out before my freshman year of high school. Rowed through high school at West Springfield High School, and then went to the University of Virginia in Charlottesville and rowed there. After graduating from University of Virginia, I went to D.C. and took a full-time job outside the city on the Virginia side, and rowed with Potomac Boat Club for 2.5 years. And based on an offer from Luke to come train with the national team out here, January of 2014, I quit my job and came out to California and have been training with the national team ever since. Racing internationally has definitely been the highlight. Last summer was a lot of fun, especially World Cup 2, where I was in the 8 and we won gold. That's the first time I had been in a sweep event in an international race, and to win gold first time was an amazing experience. Well, I would say everyone's goals include Rio, and that's the case for me too. I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life, so I'm optimistic for that opportunity in next summer, 2016.
I did sports my whole life, starting with running. My stepmom was a big runner, and she got all the kids into it. Rowing was something new and something I could do to keep fit, because organized practices was something I really needed to stay active. So it just seemed like a natural thing to do. Being on the national team, it is very surreal. You kind of forget sometimes like what you're doing until you are at championships racing against other countries and you realize, wow, I'm representing my country. Like, this is very cool. There are days where I do think about the future, but oftentimes I have to stay very present in what's going on now, because if you think too far ahead, you either kind of miss out on getting better in that moment, making yourself better every day. Thinking too far ahead, I think it's just not as, you just miss moments. And I think some of these moments building towards something, like that's what makes the World Championships, the Olympics so special, is because you work so hard every day. So staying present in the moment is also, I try to stay present in the moment. It's hard to do, but don't think too far ahead too often.
All right, we will be going to the starting line in just a moment. We are going to bring that up right now. First race of the morning, starting with live commentary from Bob Ernst.
Good morning, and welcome to the 2016 National Olympic Selection Regatta here on beautiful Otay Lake, just outside of Chula Vista, California. If you're following the races today on U.S. Rowing's YouTube live stream, you want to make sure that you tweet us at U.S. Rowing and use the hashtag NSR1 and let us know what you think of the program. My name's Bob Ernst, and I'm going to do my very best to bring you a verbal account of what's going on out here on the lake today. And I'm telling you, this just couldn't be more exciting. What a star-studded field. The first event up today is the women's pair, and these athletes have been racing all week long to make this grand final. And what does winning this final mean to these athletes? Well, first of all, this regatta is the first stepping stone to get them on the Olympic team and on the road to Rio. If they win this race, and if the guys win their A final, they have the option of going to World Cup 2 and seeing if they can qualify themselves to be the pair for the Olympic team. If they're following, if they're in second through sixth place, it guarantees them a selection spot for the big boats. For the women, it's the 8 and the quad, and for the guys, it will be the 8 and the straight 4. This field is just stellar for the women's pairs. Let me give you a little rundown here. Highlighting the field over in lanes 4, we've got 2 Olympic champions, both from the 8 in London 2012, Megan Musnicki and Eleanor Logan. We'll call Eleanor L from now on. That's what everybody sort of knows her as, okay? Both are Olympic champions. Elle Logan was twice Olympic champion. She was in Beijing and in London. They've been sort of setting the pace for everyone else here for the week. And in lane number 3, we've got Grace Luzak and Felice Mueller, and they've been hot on their trail. So this will be a real barn burner. The flag's up, and the crews are off. Let me set the field for you here. In lane number 1 from New York Athletic Club, we've got Sarah McElduff and Sarah Hendershot, the 2 Sarahs. And they were the Olympic pair in 2012 and finished 4th. And I'm telling you, it was a blanket finish at that. They just barely missed out on a medal. In lane number 2, we've got Felice Mueller and Grace Luzak, and they have, when they were U23 rowers in the pair, and you can see they're off to a very fast start here. They hold the world's best time for the U23 pair. In lane number 3, Amanda Elmore and Tessa Gobo. In lane number 4, Musnicki and Logan. In lane number 5, you got Carrie Simmons and Megan Calmo. And in lane number 6, you've got Kohler and Husselkamp. And the early leaders in lane number 2 taking a very aggressive start here is Luzak and Mueller. And they've got almost a boat length on Elle Logan and Megan Musnicki. Musnicki and Logan are starting to make a move now. We're about 600 meters into the course, and you can see these are ideal racing conditions here today. It's just flatter than a tortilla out here. What a beautiful setting for this Olympic selection regatta. And now we're approaching the 750 mark, and Musnicki and Logan are slowly reeling lane number 2, Luzak and Mueller back in. Lots of power in that boat in lane number 4, and lots of experience. Third place right now is a great battle between lane number 3, Gobo and Elmore, and lane number 5, Calmo and Simmons. The only team that seems to be dropping off the pace a little bit here today is, at this point, is lane number 1, the entry from New York Athletic Club. Lane number 4, Musnicki and Logan are rowing at 37 strokes a minute now, and slowly moving back up on lane 2, Luzak and Mueller. But this is a great race for first place. And then there seems to be another race unfolding here, and that would be the one for third between lane number 3 and lane number 5. Oh boy, big push from lane 2. Mueller and Luzak are not going to roll over on this one. And we're just now through 1,000 meters. We got half of the course yet to go, and this is turning into a real street fight. We've got 2 big battles going on here right now. The one for first, and lane number 2 has just about a half a boat length over lane number 4. And nobody's going to say uncle here. This is a lot of power and a lot of skill. And the other race that's still bow ball to bow ball is the one between lane 3, Gobo and Elmore. 1,000 meters right now. And Calmo and Simmons. And then way out there in lane number 6, got Camp. Excuse me. I'm really trying to get these names down here this week. Athletes, and I've known them for a long time, and then there are others that do a good commentary on what's going on out here in the lake today. So we're approaching the 1350 mark now, and still, the battle for first place is just unbelievable. Both of the crews that are fighting for first right now are rowing at about 38 strokes a minute, and that's high-quality stuff. And the race for third seems to be breaking open a little bit now, with Calmo and Simmons making their move. And right now we're going to pass you over to the finish line camera so we can get back.
It is Mueller and Luzak still out in front. Logan and Musnicki in second. And we'll watch how this battle for third and fourth place unfolds. But right now, out in front, it is Mueller and Luzak controlling this field with open water over the rest of the field. Logan and Musnicki in second place. Gobo and Elmore in third right now. Fourth place is Calmo and Simmons.
Here we go.
They are coming to the line. We're going to go to that camera and across the line first. It is lane 2, Mueller and Luzak. Second is Logan and Musnicki. Gobo Elmore. Calmo Simmons. Kohler Holzkamp. And then the Hendershot and Zelenka on the Sarah and Sarah on the outside. So Luzak and Mueller taking control of this race at the very beginning and holding on and strong finish. As soon as we get the results, we're going to put those up for you to see the times. Okay, stay with the shot as long as you can. Zoom in if you want. If you can find somebody, find a pretty picture. That's gorgeous. And we're going to go to the unofficial results. Next race up will be the men's pair. And first we're going to have another look at a video.
My name is Henrik Rummel. I started rowing in 2001. My mom had originally signed me up, and I didn't really know what rowing was before I started. And I quickly learned to love it. To win an Olympic medal, you got to check your ego at the door. You got to work with the team, because the people that you're training with and racing with are the guys that that are going to help you win it. It's a tough balance to strike between teammates, because you're always going after each other, but then at the end of the day you have to get out of the boat and say good race. We're managing that really well right now, and that's what's making me really, really excited for this next Olympics. I think it's going to be a really good one.
And this is the lineup for the men's A final for the pair. We'll see some nice video of each of the participants, and this video was shot during the heats and semis.
Wow, what a barn burner we had for that women's A final with Grace Luzak and Mueller making their statement in the first 250. They took it out hard, and they just fought for that lead for 2,000 meters and won it by 4 seconds over a very good crew of Musnicki and L. Logan. So now we're laying out the field here for the guys' A final. The crew that's really made their statement this week has been Rob Munn and Michael DeSanto in lane number 3. They've led everything we've had going on here in the heats and the time trial and the semifinals. And it's an interesting story because when I talked to the coaches, Luke McGee and Brian Volpenheim, they tell me that Robbie Munn is probably the most improved rower in the regatta for the guys. He was cut from the team last year, and this guy is rowing with a passion and a purpose. In lane number 1, we've got a couple of real veterans with Henrik Rummel, and Henrik went to school at Harvard, and he was in the bronze medal 4 at the Olympics in London. And Seth Weil, his partner stroking that boat, is a real serious contender for making the 4 this summer, which is a high priority boat. In lane number 2, Austin Hack, who's a Stanford man, is rowing with Alex Kowalski. And then we have Munn and DeSanto in 3. Charlie Cole, who's a veteran, and we've got this race underway. Is somebody going to try and steal this race? Boy, I'll tell you what, we got 10 strokes under our belt here, and this is dead even. So these guys are racing to be on the Olympic team, and just sit back and take a look at the quality of the racing here. One of the things that you need to know is that most of the racers here are racing in red, white, and blue uniforms, and most of the athletes are from the Princeton Training Center. However, on the far side, we've got a couple of folks. A couple of the guys are from Vesper Boat Club in lane number 6. We've got Tom Pesek and Johan Ragonia. And right now, they're pushing. They're a half a length down and pushing for that lead. So we're about 300 meters into the race. Lane number 4 of Charlie Cole and Matt Miller are doing a really nice job. They've got about a half a length on lane 2 and lane 6. And things are starting to shape up a little bit here as we go through the 500-meter mark. Lane 3, Rob Munn and Michael DeSanto are just now starting to push their bow into second place. Rob Munn's a real tall guy, and he's got a beautiful long stroke, and we'll see if he's going to make Charlie Cole and Matt Miller pay for that early lead. Okay, we're almost at 750 meters now. Lane 4, Charlie Cole and Matt Miller are leading by about almost a boat length over lanes 3, 6, and 2. I'll tell you what, there's not a yard between lane 2, 3, 5, and 6. What a boat race we've got going here. And right now, I can see that lane 2 and 3 are starting to reel in lane 4. In lane number 4, the current leaders have about 2/3 of a boat length over lane number 3, which is Michael DeSanto and Rob Munn. And they're overstroking lane 3 by about 2 or 3 strokes a minute. And slowly, 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 lane 4's getting reeled back in. And we just went through the 1,000-meter mark. So half of the race is down, and lane 4 is leading 3, still by about 2/3 of a boat length. Lane 3's bow ball is just about on the stroke of lane number 4, Matt Miller. And lane number 4 just took a little move. They've moved out about another yard on lane 3. Let's see if Robbie Munn and Michael DeSanto have got an answer for that. And here comes lane 2 again. These guys, this is quite a street fight we've got going on out here this morning. 750 meters to go. Lane 4's move at the 1,200-meter mark has definitely pushed them back out into the lead. They've taken about another yard over Munn and DeSanto. Michael DeSanto's looking around. He's having a look. Watch the lightweight race. So you got a great barn burner. Lane 3 is moving back up on lane 4. And it's interesting here on the lake this morning because the first 1,500 meters are relatively sheltered. And here comes lane 3. They've taken that yard back again. And it's going to be an all-star finish here with about 700 meters left to go.
And from the finish tower, we see this race proceeding. What a great race. Started out with Cole and Miller way out, at least 3/4 of boat length, but things are starting to tighten up now. Lane 4, Cole and Miller out in front. But you can see lanes 3 and 2 coming up. The angle is not good to tell exactly what's going on. But as they get closer, it'll become a little clearer. Lanes 3, DeSanto and Munn. They are now up very close to Cole and Miller, and they are bringing Karowski and Hack with them. Lane 3, DeSanto and Munn in the last 500 meters pushing through, and now they look to be ahead of Cole and Miller. Oh, this is going to come down to the wire. And it is going to be DeSanto and Munn. Miller and Cole on the outside. Karowski and Hack on the inside. Drummer and Strusya on the outside. Lane 1, Rummel and Wheel. And lane 6 is Pezic and Rigon. Wow, what a race. We'll get you the results as soon as we can. While we wait for the results, we'd like to thank Liberty Mutual. Liberty Mutual Insurance is a proud partner of U.S. Rowing. Whether it's your home, auto, life, or business, Liberty Mutual has helped people preserve and protect what they earn, build, own, and cherish for more than 100 years. We'd also like to thank the Scholastic Rowing Association of America for sponsoring this live video broadcast. Results are popping up. I'll have them up on the screen in just a moment. And while we wait for the results, the next race will be the B final of the women's pair. I'm sorry, it'll be the men's lightweight pair A final, followed by the women's B final, followed by the men's B final, and those are coming up. And here are the results from the men's A final.
34:06. Is this Andy or Mike? We can't see you.
What a fantastic race that was.
We don't have a radio. 6:34:06. Thank you. Bye.
Up next is the men's lightweight pair final A, and we're a couple minutes away from that. This race is going to start in about 5 minutes. We'll go to the camera launch when they're in position. They have to race up the course, stop a couple hundred meters in front of the rowers, turn without creating a wake, get into position, and we'll go to them as soon as we can.
couple of great races we've already had out here this morning, and Mun and DeSanto just pulled through in the last 250 in that men's A final to win by about 0.7 of a second, but they understroked lane 4 all the way down by about 2 or 3 strokes a minute, and they just had a little bit more to give probably in the last 250. Wonderful race. Okay, so now we're getting ready for the lightweight pairs final, and all 8 of these athletes train in Oklahoma City. Their event for the Olympics is going to be the lightweight 4. Okay, so last Tuesday they had a race for lanes here, and they qualified for these lanes today. In lane number 2, we've got Tom Swartz and Will Daly. Will Daly's the 2008 Olympic team. In lane number, let's call it 2. Number 3, Prentice. In lane number 4, Peter Gibson and Brendan Harrington. And our race is off, and oh my gosh, what a great start again. And we all have to keep in mind, one of the things that's unique about lightweight rowing is that all of these guys are basically the same size. And, the package looks a little different from guy to guy. Most of them are pretty tall and very slender and, probably about 5% body fat. And all these athletes had to weigh in this morning before they're even allowed to come out here and race. So our early race leader in lane number 3 is Robin Prentice, the stroke, and Mix King in the bow. Interestingly, one for us here is the bow. Mix King is a Naval Academy graduate, and he's a naval officer right now. And so the Navy has allowed him to take time away from his duty as a naval officer to train for the Olympics. So right now the battle is shaping up between lane 2 and lane 3. And the holdovers from the 4 in the London Olympics would be bow in lane 2, that's Anthony Faden, and the stroke of lane number 3, that would be Robin Prentice. So the 2 Olympic returning athletes from the 12 Olympics anyway are split up between lanes 2 and lane 3. And what a great race we've got shaping up here. So, in the last couple of races we were talking about, in that women's race we were talking about the top 2 crews rowing at 38 strokes a minute. Right now, there's about 18 inches that separates lane number 2 and lane number 3, and I just checked the stroke rates, and lane number 2 is rowing at 40 strokes a minute, and lane number 3 is at 38 strokes a minute. And then things drop off back here to lane 1, and they're open water behind lane 2. The real battle here is between lane 2 and lane 3. And I'll tell you what, these lightweight guys are technically very, very sound rowers. It's kind of interesting. If you watch the bow and the sterns of their boats, most of the time, the crew that's boat tracks the smoothest through the water is the most efficient. And consequently, we're just through the 1,000-meter mark now, and lane number 3 is edged back out to almost a quarter of a boat length lead over lane 2. And remember, Lane 3 is understroking lane 2 by about 2 strokes per minute. Well, I'll tell you what, lane 2's not going to let them go, though. They've just started taking some of that distance back again. So, at any rate, remember, these guys are all going to end up rowing together. Our Olympic lightweight men's 4 is going to be some combination of these guys out here on the water right now. And the really great battle here, lane 2 is taking that distance back again. They've rowed themselves almost back up to that 18-inch to 24-inch margin down on 3. Let's see when we approach the 1500 here. As we sort of end on dearly, and lane 3 is doing their best to hold off lane 2, and the rest of this race will be covered for you, the result by the finish line. So,
and from the finish tower, we see lanes 1, 2, and 3. This angle is a little hard to tell, and this angle is reversed from the camera launch. So lane 4 is closest to us, lane 1 is furthest away. Even with this angle, it still looks like King and Prentice are out in front. Faden and Nace are just a little bit behind in the light tops there. King and Prentice on the left-hand side of your screen. All the way to the right-hand side, that's Schwartz and Daly.
Grab the flag up.
Faden and Nace putting on a move here. Trying to make this really, really tight here at the finish. They have less than 200 meters to go. That 18 inches of difference that Bob was talking about, it looks like they're maintaining that all the way down to the finish. It is certainly a race between those two boats. They have open water on the rest of the field. Wow. This is going to come down to the line. It does look like Prentice and King are inching out. A little bit more of a lead here. Yes, a deck length.
1, 2.
Prentice and King, followed by Faden and Nace. On the outside is Schwartz and Daly in lane 1. And coming into view in just a moment, Gibson and Harrington crossing the line. We'll have those results for you as soon as we can. And there are the results. Men's lightweight pair. Coming up next is the women's B final. And to see who is in that race, we're going to watch a little video. Again, these shots were for the heats and the semis earlier in the week. The women's B final will be up shortly. Row to Rio is U.S. Rowing's national marketing campaign to actively involve the entire rowing community in supporting the U.S. rowing national team on its journey to the 2016 Olympic and Paralympic Games in Rio. The campaign aims to raise awareness for the sport of rowing and introduce 2016 Olympic hopefuls through traditional and non-traditional initiatives. The fundraising component will be run in partnership with the National Rowing Foundation as part of its long-standing commitment to the support of the U.S. team. The NRF has supported U.S. rowing and the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic teams since 1966. The grassroots campaign will incorporate competitions and events along with traditional rowing clubs. Again, the women's B final will be up shortly.
Okay, here we are back at the start for the women's B final. And believe me, this is by no stretch of the imagination a B fleet. Almost every single woman in this race has a world championship gold medal from last summer or a U23 gold medal. Let me give you a few highlights that we've got going here. In lane number 1, we've got Taylor Getzinger and Olivia Coffey. Olivia's the stroke. She stroked the quad that won at the Senior World Championships last summer and defeated the German quad, and it's the first time the U.S. women have ever won that event in the World Championships. And by the way, Olivia's dad, Calvin, won a silver medal in the 1976 Olympics, and he built his own boat and did it at that. So that's an interesting highlight. In lane number 2, Emily Reagan and Lauren Schmetterling were in the gold medal 8 last summer. In lane number 3, Vicky Opitz and Heidi Robbins were also in that gold medal 8 last summer. In lane number 4, Erin Boxberger and Tracy Iser. Iser was in the quad with Coffey. In lane number 5, Christine O'Brien and Grace Lance were in the 4 that won the gold medal last summer. And in lane number 6, Amanda Polk and Adrienne Martelli. Amanda was in the 8 that won last summer, and Adrienne was in the 4 that won last summer. Adrienne, by the way, was a bronze medal in the Olympics in 2012 in the women's quad. What a field. And I can't say enough about the job that I think Tom Terhart and Laurel Korholtz are doing with our women's program. And we all know that they're supported by one of the best development systems in the world. Our college coaches, you take John and Phoebe Murphy and Yaz Farouk at Stanford and all the wonderful work that the college coaches have been doing over the years to supply these athletes or recruit these athletes. There are 90 Division I women's rowing programs in the country now, and everybody's doing their share to develop great athletes and encourage them to move along to the national team. So we're getting ready for the start here now, and this lake it's just beautiful. And they're off. And remember, these women are not racing for a place to be the pair in the Olympics. They're racing to have a shot at the camp to make the 8 or make the quad for the Olympics. There is no women's 4 in the Olympics. So we're past the 100-meter mark now. And, wow, there's not 3 feet between the first 5 crews. And one of the things that we see that's pretty interesting about the pair racing, all of our national team camp athletes have to row in the pairs. And on the women's side, one of the interesting developments for Tom and Laurel's program is that some of these gals won the world championship in the quad. So that's a sculling event. All of our women in the camps have to race in the pairs now. I think that's a really great idea. And you can see the caliber of the rowing here with all of these athletes that have won world championships at one time or another. So our early leaders, as we're approaching the 500-meter mark, is lane number 5, Christine O'Brien and Grace Lance. Christine O'Brien is from the University of Virginia. That's where she rowed as an undergraduate. And Kevin Sauer's doing a great job all the time. He's doing his share for the U.S. national team, and he's coached U23 teams over the years. And by the way, if you get a good look at our rowing course here on Otay Lake this morning, Kevin's one of the geniuses that helps put these kinds of facilities together and has over the years. In lane number 4, Aaron Boxberger and Tracy Iser. By the way, Aaron in the bow seat of lane number 4 there is still an undergraduate and goes to school at Notre Dame and is coached by Martin Stone there, okay? And they're making it a really close race here. I would say that there's probably not 2 feet between lane 4 and 5. And certainly lane 3, Vicki Opitz and Heidi Robbins are hanging right in there. So right now, first through third is probably a third of a boat length. That's it. And lane number 3 is inching up slowly, slowly, slowly. In lane 3, the stroke is Heidi Robinson. She stroked the gold medal 8 for the United States last summer for the World Championships. She went to school at Princeton, and Lori Daphne was her coach at Princeton. And Lori's done a super job over the years with her Princeton crews, and everyone is very proud of the productivity that Princeton's offered to the national team. Right now, it's dead even between lanes 3, 4, and 5. They're trading stroke for stroke, and it's dead even. Lane 3 has rowed themselves up into first place contention, and And at the same time, watch lanes 1 and 2. The only crew that's kind of fallen off the pace a little bit over there is Martelli and Polk. And I've been watching them all week, and they've got the conditioning and they've got the power. It's just that they're just not quite matching as well as some of these other crews. Right now, the first 5 places are less than half a boat length separating the crews. Lane 4 is just starting to move their bow ball out in front of 3 and 5. And now, as we're approaching the 1,000-meter mark, Lane 3 is starting to lean on Lane 4. I'll tell you what, this race is going to come down to the last 250, and there are going to be a lot of tired cowgirls when this race is over. Lane 4, Iser and Boxberger are just not going to let this one get away from them. They have a nice, long, very deliberate stroke. 5's falling off in Lane 2. They've just put their bow ball in front of 3, and these 2 women are on a crusade to get to first place. We're approaching the 1,500 meters. Bow ball to bow ball as they head into the last 600 meters. My money says Lane 2's got a little bit more inertia than 4, but the finish line tower is going to cover this one for you.
From the finish tower, it is impossible to tell what is going on. This race is so tight, and places are moving back and forth. You saw the bow balls trading back and forth earlier in the race. It may be separating a little bit now. As they come towards the finish line, you'll notice that the field of view is reversed. Lane 6 is closest to us. Lane 1 is furthest away. Lane 2, Regan and Smetterling out. They are moving now. You can see, even with this perspective, they are starting to go. Do they have enough to get Boxberger and Iser? Who knows? We will see. From this view, it looks like Lane 2, Regan and Smetterling, are moving away now. Let's see if Aaron Boxberger and Tracy Iser are going to let them go. I mean, they're not going to let them go. They're going to work as hard as they can to reel them back in. But it does look like Regan and Smetterling have opened this up a little bit. Boxberger, Iser in second place. Third place could be Lane 6. Polk and Martelli have moved up, but they are going to have to battle Opitz and Robbins for that third place spot. Here they come. Oh boy, not going to call that.
4, 5, 6.
Wow, what a fantastic finish. We're going to wait for the results on that. They'll be coming up very shortly, and I'll get them up as soon as I can. While we wait for results, want to thank Liberty Mutual Insurance. They're a proud partner of U.S. Rowing. Whether it's your auto, home, life, or business, Liberty Mutual has helped people preserve and protect what they earn, build, own, and cherish for more than 100 years. Thank you very much, Liberty Mutual Insurance. Also like to thank the Scholastic Rowing Association of America for their support of the U.S. Rowing live streaming. Get you those results in just a second. Look at the difference between first and second. Amazing. The next race up will be the men's B final. And that race is slated to start in about 5 minutes. Road to Rio is U.S. Rowing's national marketing campaign to actively involve the entire rowing community in supporting the U.S. national team on its journey to the 2016 Olympic and Paralympic Games in Rio. The campaign aims to raise awareness for the sport of rowing and introduce 2016 Olympic hopefuls through traditional and non-traditional initiatives. The fundraising component will be run in partnership with the National Rowing Foundation as part of its long-standing commitment to supporting the U.S. team. The NRF has supported U.S. rowing and the U.S. Rowing Olympic and Paralympic team since 1966. The grassroots campaign will incorporate competitions and events among traditional rowing clubs. Thank you to the NRF for their long-term support of U.S. rowing's national teams. Again, the B final for the men's pair will be up next. We're a couple minutes away. When the camera launch gets into position, we'll go to Bob Ernst out on the camera launch.
Last but not least, the men's B finals. And another star-studded field, and one that Brian Volpenheim and Luke McGee, and I have to say Larry from the Green Racing Project, which is from the deep dark woods in New Hampshire, are rowers that are not part of the from the camp here, and so is lane number 1, David Ike and Ambrose Putnam. So they're not wearing the red, white, and blue today, but I can tell you that I talked to Larry Gleckman on the phone earlier this week, and he's very proud of our racers in lane 3 in the green-white uniforms, Andrew Reed and Parker Washburn. And by the way, both of those guys rode at Harvard University for the late, great Harry Parker, a guy that we all miss a lot. And way over in lane number 6, you've got Glenn O'Hall, and Glenn was in the bronze medal 4 in the London Olympics. So we've got quite a cross-section here in the men's B finals. And remember, these guys are not racing at this point to be the pair in the Olympics, but to have a shot at the camp, or maybe later on in the year they'll be racing again for the pair. Let me lay out the course here for you. There's a little tiny bit of a cross breeze just coming up here. The wind is slowly shifting around as it does here at Ltwt Lake, from blowing off of the desert in the morning to sliding around and blowing off of the ocean later in the day. And right now, the course, the water is really flat. It's just little tiny cat's paws on the water. Lane 1, Seattle area rowing, Ike and Putnam. Lane 2, the James brothers, Ross and Grant. Lane 3, Andrew Reed and Parker Washburn from the Green Racing Project. Lane 4, Tom Dethels and Nereg Gurgen. In lane 5, Mike Gennaro and Darish Ahi. And lane number 6, Steve Kasparzik and Glenn O'Howell. Okay, so our early leaders, about 200 meters in, is lane number 4, Dethels and Gurgen. And by the way, I want to give some credit to the men's side of our university program here in the United States, because clearly just here in this race, we've got guys that were coached by Michael Callahan at the University of Washington. Even Luke McGee, our national team head coach, one of our head coaches, is a former Husky, and I can tell you he's coached a lot of these guys on the freshman team at the University of Washington. And Chris Clark coached the James brothers. And the James brothers, by the way, here in lane 2, were number 3 and number 2 in the Olympic 8 in 2012 in London. Lane number 5 is making a statement right now. Mike Gennaro and Darish Ahi calls himself Tim from time to time, so I think I'm going to go with that for a while, okay? They're making a statement right now. They got about a half a boat length on lane number 3 from the Green Racing Project out there at Craftsbury in New Hampshire. Or Vermont. Okay. I got my guardian angel here who's helping me with some of this stuff, and believe me, I need it. So in lane 5 is leading the race. They got about 2/3 of a boat length over lane 3, and we are 750 meters into the course right now. And lane 5 is having this all their way right now. They got a super long stroke. And they're continuing to move inch by inch on lane 3, the Green Racing Machine from Craftsbury. So right now, lane 5 is just starting to crack open water on 3, and the race for 3rd place is really close between lane 4 and lane 1. Lane 5, let's take a look at the way these guys are rowing. Right now, they're rowing 39 strokes a minute. And if you look at the water now, you can see that there's just a little bit of chop on the water, and it's swinging around from an east breeze toward a west breeze. So it's blowing almost straight out of the south right now. These guys are rowing into a little bit of a headwind. Let's see how much of a toll these guys are going to pay for rowing 39 strokes a minute into a head breeze this morning. Second place in really good, solid second position, but a little bit of open water behind lane 5 is the Green Racing Project from Craftsbury. And third place, but just barely, is lane number 4. Lane 2 is challenging lane 4 for that second position. Third position, excuse me. Lane 3 from Craftsbury, they're getting moved on right now by Grant and Ross James. They were two really hot crew, and these guys have been rowing a pair for a long. Fourth, they and right now, let me tell you, one of the real advantages that the camp guys have sometimes is all the guys in the red, white, and blue uniforms out here, and the gals, have been here at Ltwt Lake for almost 3 months now, beating each other's brains out every day. So not only are they really familiar with racing these pairs, they know who their rivals are out on the water, and they are really fit. And the James gang's on the move now. They're really on the Green Racing Project right now. Strokes a minute is lane. Put the squeeze on the Green Racing Project from Craftsbury. So I'm going to pass this over to the finish line and let them cover this race for place.
Great race as we get into the last 250 meters. Again, this is a reverse view from what you were just seeing. Lane 6 is closest to us. Lane 1 is furthest away. So the James brothers, they are at the top right. The leading boat at the top right. They are moving nicely. Looks like they've gone past the Green Racing Project from Craftsbury. But Gennaro and Ahi are still just a little bit out in front. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. We're about 100 meters from the line. Still Gennaro and Ahi out in front. But that second and third place is going to be really tight. Gennaro and Ahi, Green Racing, Reed and Parker. Oh, very close. Great racing. We'll have the results up in just a minute. That's the last race of the day. Follow U.S. Rowing for more developments and placings for these 2016 Olympic hopefuls. There will be more events through the summer. So come back to U.S. Rowing for more information about these men and women trying out for the team. The results will be up in just a second. And there are the results for the men's B final. Great day of racing. We'll see you all later in the summer. Thanks for watching.